So I'm just gonna stop. Okay, forget about that. Okay, I've started recording. So today's call will be about GU and gold that we went through and I took trades on last week or at the beginning of this week. They ended up both being profitable for multiple hundreds of pips. I'll be going through a GU first since that is still in play. I still have a GU open. My stops are at break even, but I do have it open. So if I start sharing my Discord screen first of all, and I show you what I said would happen and what ended up happening. If you go to the watch list for the weekend, we scroll up, you will see that for GU, all right, this is my chart for GU. Here we go. Oh no, this GPCHF. Here we go. This is GU. You can see I had my higher time frame 4-hour POI or 4-hour supply zone. As you can see, I expected the market to, from that zone or 4-hour supply zone to start selling off. I then went onto the lower time frames and I noticed that we had a little bit of double top. Once we have a little bit of double top, what do we expect? That is an area of resistance. The market will break that level of resistance to the upside, take out the liquidity that has been accumulated at that level of resistance, and then start to drop off, right? And I said that you can see it says equal highs, liquidity likely to be taken. You can see the date and time, right? What ended up happening is the market took out that liquidity, as you can see. And if I go back to sharing my Chrome screen, the market ended up selling off for multiple hundreds of pips, right? If I show you for 150 pips and then started to retrace, right? So this was a perfect scenario that ended up playing out very nicely. If you draw in the fib now from where we ended up starting that move down from, and I make it the full fib because sometimes I do have my fibs edited. So let me just make it that full fib. You can see that the market has now just come to the 0.618 of our zone, has come to a little order block if you like, and is now beginning to sell off. Any entries on GU now are probably valid, like from in on Monday, like to take the market lower from here. I'd say it's a completely valid trade. Perhaps what you could be looking to do is maybe get an entry from the 0.786 zone from an order block up here. But any entries up here with your stop losses above here are still going to be valid since you are going to be targeting massive take profits of all the way down here as a minimum. Why do we target here? Does anyone know? Does anyone answer that question for me? Why we target equal lows as an area of potential take profit? If anyone wants to unmute, they can definitely go through that. If not, or you can let me know in chat, or I'll just go through it. It's fine. If there's any responses, if there's not any responses, yeah, here we go. Emily just answered. You set your stop take profit, I think you mean, beneath since there's liquidity, right? If there's a clear area of liquidity, the market is likely going to take out that liquidity, right? We know that, and therefore we are going to set our take profits for any trades entered all the way up here at a minimum below here. So that would be my first take profit. That's why I'm still running in this trade. I could have closed it here. I chose not to. There was an order block here that I knew that the market was going to react to and then, come out from. But I chose to keep that trade open because I had faith that it was going to continue dropping. Take out these equal lows. That's our lower time frame equal lows. And then also we have higher time frame equal lows, as you can see, right? So these are our higher time frame equal lows right here. So we have the market touch that level once, touch that level twice, touch that level 3 times, right? We therefore know that below this level, there's going to be a lot of liquidity, right? So I'm going to be targeting number one here as a first level of take profit, and then number two here as our final take profits. You could also be targeting this demand zone, and that is a perfectly valid take profit. Take profits are a matter of preference, in my opinion. It's just where, like, how much you've risked. If you've chosen to risk 1% of your account and you're happy with, 43% gain on your account, well, then you can take profit here if you want. If you're risking only 0.5% of your account, and you want to make perhaps 20% on your account or 25% on your account, maybe you want to hold that trade all the way down to a 4-hour demand zone, right? So there's a lot of compliments for the south side of GU. We have a 4-hour POI. There's liquidity that's just been taken to the upside from these equal high stage. You can see touched 3 times, right? The market came into a 4-hour POI and began to sell off, right? Has now come into our 0.618 of the Fibonacci, and you all know that that is our zone that we look for the market to retrace to, right? And then sell off from, right? So there's sells like now, any point when the market opens are valid. We have equal lows, lower time frame equal lows. We have a lower time frame demand zone, and then we have higher time frame equal lows here, and then our higher time frame demand zone all the way to the left of our screen right here, as you can see that I've marked out as a 4-hour point of interest. So there's a lot of confluence for the sell side of GU, and that's why we entered it. I'm still running on this trade. I'm up nicely, but I'm choosing to keep it open. I might re-enter from our zones now, our 618, maybe even our 786 if we see the market retrace deeper. But that was GU. It was a picture perfect setup. Couldn't have gotten any better, right? Took out liquidity to the upside on our low, very, very low time frames, our 1 minute time frame. If I show you that on Discord right now, if you go to Discord, took out our 1 minute structure to the upside and began to sell off, right? Then what we saw is the market sell off nicely, right? Oh no, this is gold. This is different. But if I go back to Chrome and I start sharing my Chrome screen again, you can see if I just zoom in for us here, the market after it broke that level of structure, all I did was enter the trade after it broke the level of structure and returned, right? Set the stop loss above that level, right? Because we know when we have that break and retest, retail traders are going to be providing the liquidity for sells, right? Because when we have a break and retest, what are retail traders going to be thinking? They're going to be thinking we have a perfect break and retest scenario. We're going to be buying this market at that level of resistance, and that we're going to turn that level of resistance into a future level of support, and we're going to see the market bounce up from there. Therefore, at this price right here, if I just get rid of this, right, at that price right there, retail is going to be buying this market like crazy. And when that happens, smart money is going to use that buyer's liquidity to sell the market, right? And the market is going to start to sell off, right? Which is exactly what happened. As you can see, I call that on Discord. I'm going to stop showing off that I called it. But as you can see, I said that the equal highs would be taken. If I show you, uh, where was that? If I can find it. And here we go. The market took out the equal highs. I said that I drew out. I said that the market formed equal highs, and that liquidity was likely to be taken. The very next snapshot, as you can see, liquidity was taken, and the market just began to sell off. This is at this point right here is exactly where I entered my trade with my stop loss placed above there, targeting those equal lows as I showed you. Right, so that was a very nice setup. GU. I am hoping to enter new trades on GU this next week. Any entries now, as I said, from that 618 zone are valid. Maybe wait for a little bit of retracement, wait for your spread to get better, because what happens is when the market opens, spread is very high, so you don't want to be opening any trades, during the spread hours. So I'd say give it a second, maybe enter in the morning. For us now, it's 6 p.m. in London, right? And London is where most liquidity comes from in the world for Forex, right? So let's say the market opens at, let's say, 10 o'clock. Obviously, that's what the market does, right? Opens at 10 o'clock. I'd say open your trades in the morning, 6, 7 p.m., 6, 7 a.m., because that's where liquidity is really going to take off and the market is going to start, giving us those big moves that we look for and those most profitable moves during that London session, right? So that's what I would be looking to do. And that's what I would be looking to enter GU. That was GU. That was a quick little breakdown. If anyone has any questions, please do let me know. And please do let me know in the chat, or you could just unmute and I can listen to your question. I remember we did have, who was it? Jeffrey, you are new to the group. If you have any questions, let me know. I know a lot of you are new to the group. I think Nespika, I'm probably saying that wrong. You're new to the group. JJ, you're new to the group. Um, Brandon Parks, I think, is also new to the group. Arandao, you're also new to the group. So yeah, this is some complex stuff. If you're not understanding, please do let me know, and I will go through it. S asks, I'm targeting at a minimum, right? Targets are completely preference in my opinion, but at a minimum, these equal lows, because we know that there is a almost perfect area of support. If I show you, perfect area of support, right? The market is probably going to take out that liquidity to the downside. Once it does that, maybe I could take some profits off the table at this level here, right? As I've drawn out, you can see that demand zone, because there is a nice area of selling to buy up the market at that zone. So you could also take profits here. You could also take profits below these equal lows here, because there are some nice areas of equal lows down here. And then finally, your final profits would perhaps be taken all the way down here at your 4-hour demand zone. So that's what I would say. That's how I would be looking to manage this setup. So take profits, go here. I hope that answers your question. I think what we should now do is move on to gold. Gold was another trade that was profitable. I closed this trade for a nice gain on my account. Basically, I'll replay this market to where gold was and where it ended up going. Basically, here we go. I'm going to start on the higher time frames. I'm going to do a top-down analysis type thing for you guys. So what did I see on gold? I saw on gold, if you go to the daily time frame and just reset the chart, gold was forming lower lows and lower highs. You can see there's a high, a lower high, a lower high again, and a lower high again. Right? The market continues to form these lower highs and lower lows. You can see on the low side as well, we have a low, a lower low, lower low again, and another lower low, right? So we are overall very bearish. You can just see from, the get-go, we are in a downward channel, right? That's the first thing that caught my eye on gold. The second thing that caught my eye on gold is if I go into the 4-hour time frame, you can all see we have a very clear buy to sell candle, or IFC candle, order block, or supply zone, whatever you want to call it. It's just, synonyms for each other. This is a supply zone and it's valid since we have the market buy up from our zone and sell off nicely. This order block is valid because we see our very next candle is an engulfing candle, right? It engulfs all the way down, engulfs all of these candles, right? That is telling us smart money has gotten involved in this market, right? Then what we have the market do is the market break structure to the downside, right? That's the second thing that we look for an order block to be valid, right? So the market does that and now is returning to that order block. So I was watching this zone as a potentially very nice zone to be entering trades from. And as you can see, the market came into our zone, formed a little bit of double top, and then really started to sell off. As you can see, if I go to something like the 5 minute time frame and I reset that chart, what you can see is the market came into our zone, sold off, right, and was beginning to do a little bit of Wyckoff action, right? You could argue that this is our preliminary supply, these are buyers climax and secondary test, these are up thrust, our UTAD, right, and then these are finally our last point of supply. Or you could argue this is your last point of supply, right? So you could argue that there's a little bit of Wyckoff distribution, but I don't want to be that trader, that turns everything into Wyckoff, because Wyckoff is subjective. What do I mean by that? I mean, I could be seeing Wyckoff, but someone else couldn't be seeing, and we could be equally as good traders. So Wyckoff is very subjective. So I don't want to be that trader that tells you that Wyckoff is everywhere, because Wyckoff is everywhere, but I don't want to make it as though it's everywhere, even though I don't want to fudge it in, is what is the point, right? You don't need Wyckoff for this setup to still be valid. So the market came into our area of structure, for our POY, sold off. Then what we had the market do is the market formed some equal highs, as you can see, formed perfect equal highs at this zone, right? You can all see these equal highs right here. I'll mark it out for us. I'll make it a bit bolder as well. So those are our equal highs. If I extend that line to the right now, the market takes out our equal highs. These are take our breaking structure to the upside, taking out all of those retail traders. The market now breaks structure to the downside and comes to our imbalance. This was my imbalance, and this is where I took full profits of the table. It was a picture perfect setup. You can all see if I show you on the higher time frames, that imbalance is just a little bit clearer. This is our area of unbalanced. This is where the market is not balanced, right? We don't have the same amount of buyers and sellers. Therefore, this is our imbalance from wick to wick, right? So this is where I took full profits of the table. And as you can see, the market took me out. And if I play the market, you can see it just went straight back up. And if anyone was holding, you would have been stopped up. So that was that. Very clean setup also on gold. Gold, I'm not quite sure. I'm not going to be entering any trades on gold, because at least not at the moment, because there are also some valid order blocks higher. So there is a valid order block. What was I seeing? Here we go. There's an order block here, and that order block does have indecision on its side, and indecision is also a good thing when we're looking at order blocks. So I'm not going to be entering any trades at the moment. I'll just be watching gold. It will be high up on my playlist. Let's make it green. That just shows me that it's a priority. So you can see gold is at the top of my watch list, because I am still bearish on gold just because there are so many other confluences. For example, we have equal lows down here that need to be taken, right? So I am long-term bearish on gold. I'm just looking for a correct entry at the moment. That's all that I am looking at for gold so far. Um, but yeah, that's gold for the time being. I'm not going to be entering any trades. Does anyone have any questions? Okay, Arundel asks, explain imbalance just a bit for me. Basically, imbalance is what it sounds like. It's when the market is not balanced, when we have more buyers and sellers. In any market, you have to have the same amount of buyers and sellers, right? Those buyers could be buying different amounts of the asset, but you have to have a set amount of buyers and a set amount of sellers. Say you go to your local physical store. I don't know where you are. Let's just say you're from the UK. A big superstore here is Asda. Say you go to your local Asda, right, and you want to buy something. If there is an imbalance of buyers and sellers, aka Asda selling 10 iPhones, I don't know, 10 cartons of milk, and 20 people want to buy a carton of milk, that is not right, right? The liquidity for you to buy those cartons is not available, right? That's just a metaphor, by the way. Of course, there's not liquidity at Asda, right? Um, Same thing in the financial markets. In this case, you can see that there is way more buyers than sellers, which is exactly the scenario I was using now, right? There are more buyers than sellers, aka there are more as ASDA wants to sell a certain amount, but the amount of buyers is way more than the amount that ASDA is able to supply. Same thing in the market. There's more supply. I mean, there's not enough supply, but a lot of demand, right? So when that happens, the market needs to come back, take care of that zone, and then go higher. So that's what we expect to happen, and that's how you want to see the market. That's how we expect the market to do its thing. So yeah, I hope that made sense. Arundel, do you have any other questions? Let me know if you do, and I will of course go through them. We now have 20 people in the call, which is better than the beginning. So at least we have an improvement. But yeah, that's gold and that's GU. They were both very nice setups that ended up playing out very nicely. Um, so yeah, that made me a good amount of money. So what else? Does anyone have any pairs that they want me to go through? Because normally a lot of you do let me know of pairs, and I do break them down for you and let you know if they are valid setups. If anyone has any pairs that they want me to go through, I can of course do that. I am still watching CAD JPY. If I look at CAD JPY, let me get CAD JPY up. CAD JPY, here we go. CAD JPY has really been taking the piss because it looks like it's gonna come into a higher POI. So you all remember we took a small loss here from we were trading this daily POI. We did take a W here. You can see we sold the market here for a good 150 pips, but the market did come back. We wanted to get re-entries at that point, and we were stopped out for a small. It was a 3R loss from my end. I don't know about you guys, but I took a 3R loss. I did make that back, however, and some on GU on gold. So I'm not really stressed out about CAD JPY. But it does now look like it's coming to this area right here. This is a nice little supply zone that is also very valid. As you can see, the market formed the supply zone and then started to sell off, right? The supply zone is valid since it broke structure, right? As you can see, and I just bring it back, it broke through all levels of structure. It broke through decade levels of structure, right? You can see this level of structure formed in 2016. That level of structure was broken. So this area right here is looking very nice for potential shorts on CAD JPY. But I'm just going to be watching it for the time being. I do say that a lot, and it might be frustrating for you guys, but we have to be patient. This is a financial market where patience is the most patient traders are the richest traders, right? So you have to be patient if you want to make money, right? So we just have to be patient, see how the market will react to that zone, and then see if there are any entry opportunities. But for the time being, I'm still watching CAD JPY. Jeffrey says that USD CHF looks like it's approaching a weekly order block. Let's go to USD CHF. So USD CHF is approaching a weekly order block. Okay, just from the get-go, I see that USD CHF has reacted to an order block right here. That order block is valid since it broke this level of structure. I think we did look at this last week. I think we did at least. Um, Basically, we said that USD CHF, if we look on the weekly time frame, the order block is massive, right? So if I show you, this is the order block on the weekly time frame. It's just huge, right? If you were to enter trades from there, right, your stop losses would be huge, right? But so that's why I don't enter trades on USD CHF. I mean this weekly order block, you are able to refine it, and it did do what we wanted it to do from that daily POI. So if I show you, these are daily POI. Here we go. You can see that it's very valid. It forms, and then what we have the market is reverse up break, strikes to the upside return, and then what the market did is it ran for a good couple hundred pips, probably just from what I'm seeing. How many hundred pips? 120 pips. So that was a nice setup if anyone caught it. I didn't actually take that trade just I don't really like trading minor pairs. I like trading major pairs just because it makes logical sense for smart money concepts to work on them, because they're called major pairs because those are the most liquid pairs, right? Those are the pairs that smart money is most involved in, and therefore those are the pairs that smart money is likely to leave like their trade footprints off on, and that we can enter trades on, right? So those are the pairs that I like. I like the major pairs: EU, GU. If you don't know, I mean Euro USD, GBP USD, GBP JPY. That's not really a major pair, but I'd classify it as a major pair since it's easy for a move to happen on GJ. You can have GJ run 400 pips in a week, like very easily. So that's the reason why I like GJ. Euro USD gold. Everyone likes gold because gold is volatile, and volatility is the name of the game. If you're a trader, right? Volatility is your best friend. So those are the pairs that I like. USD CHF, I'm not going to be personally entering. If you do enter, it looks to me that this daily order block is valid since it did break structure and just returned. Um, so if you want to enter trades, you can, and I can do a quick breakdown for you if you'd like. If there are any re-entry opportunities, let's take a look. It looks to me that this may have been a valid order block, right here. So this is like a little bit of selling action before the buying takes off. However, this wick right here may have, you know, mitigated down. We don't want to be entering trades on mitigated setups. Um, I'm not seeing any re-entry opportunities on USD chaff. What I'd have to see for USD chaff for me to enter is I'd have to see a very nice push to the upside, breaking this level of structure, leaving behind a nice order block that I can then enter from. But for the time being, there's not enough confluence. So what we can do is we can set alerts. So let's set an alert up here just above that area of structure because there is some equal highs. So 1 second, let me move that to this price right here and then save it. And let's also set an alert here because why not? Just to see if it breaks structure to the downside so that we can remove it off of our watch list. So yeah, that's USD CHF. I hope that helped. I hope that helped. Who was that? Jeffrey. Um, Bishal asks, can you check out Euro USD? I see a 4-hour OB. Let's take a look at Euro USD. Euro USD, if there's a nice setup on there, I will of course be entering that because I do like Euro USD in terms of it being a major pair and all of that good stuff. So if you look at our 4-hour time frame, what do I see on Euro USD in terms of our 4-hour time frame? I see that overall we are very bullish, very clearly we are bullish. You can see. However, I remember we did take trades on Euro USD and it reacted to a weekly order block. As you can see, this is our weekly order block. Came into our weekly order block and started to sell off. It's now retracing nicely, as you can see. What we can do now is we can draw in the fib. So you guys are seeing me do live analysis right now, right? I didn't look at this pair before. So what it looks like to me is as it's coming into our 786 zone, which is a good sign in order to enter shorts from, right? So that's the 786 zone. Also, what else is it doing on the lower time frame? Someone wanted me to look to see if there's a 4-hour OB. Um, I'm not seeing any very valid OBs at the moment. I can't lie on the 4-hour time frame at least, because if you were to argue that there's a valid OB, we don't have that engulfing candle, and also it doesn't break structure. So shorts on Euro USD aren't looking very nice. Maybe you could argue that this up here is a valid OB. That actually does look very nice. In fact, yeah, that looks very nice. I can give you that. This looks good for shorts. Let me just delete this off my chart. So from this area up here, that looks very, very nice for shorts. We have a nice bit of buying action before the selling takes off. It breaks multiple different structures to the downside here, here, so on and so forth, right? So this order block looks nice. I can't lie, this does look very, very nice. What I'll do is I'll set some alerts to make sure that I come to look at Euro USD because this is a very nice setup, and I'll set alerts below here just to have it on both sides of the market, just in case the other side ends up not going our way. But Euro USD does look very nice. Bishao, number one, you're only DMing me. You're not talking to the whole group. I don't know if you know that, if you noticed that. And you said you were looking at bullish OBs. Bullish OBs on the 4-hour time frame, you could argue that this is a potentially valid setup from here. But what I do is I'd wait for the market to come to a higher time frame. It will be up here, then sell off and come to your demand zone here. Then you can maybe take profits, right? But a higher time frame, no problem, Vishal, it's fine. You don't have to say sorry. But a higher time frame bias is that we are bearish because the market has come into a 4-hour, not a 4-hour. What am I talking about? Our weekly OB, right? Or our weekly supply zone. So our higher time frame bias is bearish. The market is coming into a 4-hour supply zone. And also we have a 4-hour demand zone that the market could go to after it comes into our 4-hour supply zone. So if anyone doesn't understand what I meant by that, because that was very wordy, I'll go through it again. Just give me a second. So what I'm expecting the market to do is to climb up, come into our area here. So this is up at a POY. If I just draw it out for us, This is our POI, POI, right? Or let me say 4 hour POI, right? These are 4 hour point of interest. The market is going to come into our 4 hour point of interest and then sell off, right? I'm expecting it once it comes into our POI to sell off nicely all the way to our 4 hour demand zone. So this is the area that Bishal was pointing out and saying that we could potentially be getting longs from. What I'd say is wait for the market to come here, then sell off and take and close trades here. If you want to then long the market, then that's fine. But for the time being, I'd say don't do that. 1 second, let me just do something real quick. I'll mute for 5 seconds. Okay, I'm back. I hope that made sense. Bishal and the other person I was asking, not quite sure who that was. S iPhone. Yeah, there is an engulfing candle. So you asked that if there was an engulfing candle. At this point, there is a very clear engulfing candle. You can see you have that little bit of consolidation. Then the market breaks straight outside, and we form an engulfing candle. Someone has just unmuted. Do you have a question? Whoever's unmuted.
No, sorry, my bad.
No problem. No problem. Um, But yeah, that's how I'm going to be looking at Euro USD. I'm looking for it to come into our demand supply zone, sell off nicely to our demand zone, and we get a nice entry maybe to do something like this. And this is before I refine it on the lower time frames, which is something that we always do. But even if we don't refine it and we use that 4 hour OB, we're still looking at a nice 1 to 4 setup, right? But we are probably going to be refining that. In fact, I will be 100% refining it because I don't like 1 to 4 setups. It doesn't make financial sense for me to do that, right? I mean, that's a bit of a stretch, but like you understand what I mean. I don't like low risk rewards. I like high risk rewards, so I'm probably going to be refining that down to something more like a 1 to 10 or 1 to 20. But yeah, this does look like a nice setup on Euro USD if I do say so myself. So does anyone have any other pairs that they're watching? Anyone have any money in Dogecoin? Because Dogecoin is going crazy recently. I did get some entries a long time ago. One of my friends put me onto it. I'm in from all the way down here on 40 cents. So that's I got in on 40 cents really. And I'm holding a good amount of money on Dogecoin right now. But yeah, that's besides the point. Does anyone have any like forex pairs that they want me to go through? Um, that would be fine if you want me to go. I can also go through crypto. I just wouldn't be entering trades on crypto. If you want me to go through Bitcoin, I can also do that. If you want me to go through Bitcoin, did have a very nice sell off that one of my boys called. He called Smart Money Mo. I'll give him a quick shout out. You guys can all sub to him and all of that good stuff. This is no, didn't mean to do that. This is a trade that he called. He called the Bitcoin sell off. So if I show you Bitcoin, right, he called this very nice sell off. It was doing a little bit of Wyckoff action. This whole area was an area of Wyckoff distribution. So yeah, this Bitcoin did do exactly what we're looking at. Came into a supply zone right here, formed our last point of supply, and then sold off amazingly. So I mean, the one time that technicals work on Bitcoin, I didn't get involved in the market. He didn't. He made a lot of money off of it. So yeah, good for him. Happy for him. But I didn't actually get involved in Bitcoin because it's just too volatile for me. And if anyone is curious on my financial plan for the long term, because my day job is trading, like day trading. However, my in terms of my financial plan, in terms of how I look to invest, this is what I'm looking to happen at the moment. Um, there's a measure or a metric, whatever you want to call it, called the GDP to stock market ratio. The GDP in the US is barely growing. It's growing very slowly or stagnating, right? But the stock market is forming new highs every day. If you look at the chart for something like the S&P 500, right, you can see that it's just forming higher highs and higher lows till forever, right? Right. So there's a mismatch in GDP and the stock market. Right. I'm expecting the stock market as a result of that to crash heavily. Right. And there's something called a logarithmic chart, and this S&P 500 is nearing the top of that logarithm. Right. So I'm expecting it to really sell off. Right. I'm expecting it to come deep lower. Once that happens, I'm expecting the crypto market to also sell off, but not as a result of any fundamentals, just so people, just human nature. People are going to be looking to hoard cash, right? They don't want to be having any market in banks or like not banks, or I mean the stock market, any sort of investment, they just want their cash, right? They don't have trust in the financial system at that point, right? So I'm expecting for there to be a short-term crash of both of the crypto market as a result of our long-term crash of the stock market. Once that happens, I'm gonna pile tens of thousands of pounds into both the stock market and the crypto market, and I'm hopefully gonna get very nice entries and buy the dip. So I'm gonna do the definition of buying the dip basically, because I am expecting it to really sell off. Once that happens, I'm gonna start piling money in. So yeah, that's my little. If anyone's curious, probably none of you are curious, but yeah, there you go. You know now. So yeah, Bitcoin. Yeah, there's Bitcoin. If you want me to go through, a couple of you wanted me to go through the Nasdaq a long time ago, so I can go through that if you'd like. So what the Nasdaq has done now is, if you look down here, it's come to a demand zone right here, as you can see, right? This is a nice demand zone. The market forms a nice little engulfing candle, break structure to the upside, breaks through this level of structure here. So I'm expecting the Nasdaq from here to really take off all the way to the upside. There are multiple demand zones, I mean supply zones, that you could be taking profits out of the Nasdaq. So you could be pushing market price up into this zone and then to sell off. But yeah, I am bullish on the Nasdaq. By the way, just to let everyone know, this call is coming to an end, but we will be doing another call straight after, just because Zoom does this thing where it limits calls to 30 minutes per call. So this call has less than 1 minute left, so I might as well cut it off now. So the next call, which I will literally put the link in in on Discord for, like straight away after I end this one, will be about how I'm planning to change up the Discord group, change up a couple things, get a couple of bots in, and hopefully improve the whole experience for everyone that has bought and bought access to the group chat. So yeah, that's going to be the next call. I'm going to be ending this call, but I will be restarting in literally less than a minute.